Calm down, calm down. These are temporary hardships.
Planned nationwide protests, more notable Nigerians and groups appeal for patience as government tackles demands.
Like price of corn and beans, it dropped almost 30%.
It's every Nigerian's dream that the price will drop so that everybody can afford.
Aftermath of early harvest, prices of foodstuff tumble in parts of the country. Ajaokuta Steel Company, Senate queries allocation of 4.2 billion naira to what it terms unverified workers in 2024 budget. Good evening and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. Joining me from Lagos is Adeola Komi Akere. Bade Adele on sport updates. Bade, what do we have from Team Nigeria's camp?
As the Super Falcons of Nigeria prepare to take on their Japanese counterparts in the last group game of the women's football event at the Olympics. If they win that match, they stand a good chance of qualifying.
And, of course, Benny Adams on business news.
Well, the market is bearish today, but events are unfolding.
Remember, you can follow this broadcast live on our social media handles displayed on your screen. Now let's start from the agricultural sector. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, has appealed to Nigerians to shun the proposed protest as prices of agricultural produce have started dropping. The minister also implored farmers to consider the profound impact of dedicated focus on their farming activities. Our agriculture correspondent, Mr. Babali, visited some markets in Plateau and Benue states to confirm the prices of food items.
This is Faringada Market, one of the major farmers' markets in Jos Plateau State. A survey indicates that prices of agricultural produce have started dropping when compared to what was obtainable months ago. The development was attributed to the high supply of the produce. This truck of yam just arrived from Kachia local government area of Kaduna State. The yams are fresh, directly from the farm. Theresa Bala says a truck of newly harvested yam cost her about 1.2 million naira, while the old stock was as high as 5.5 million naira. These 5 pieces of yam are 7,000 naira now, against the 25,000 naira it was days back, she says. Similarly, prices of potatoes have also dropped by almost 70% as the new harvest flooded the market across the states.
Like 3 months ago, we are selling the bag 160,000 naira, 170,000 naira. After that, we are selling it 35,000 naira, 40,000 naira.
But now you can get 60, you can get 50, you can get 45, and you can even get out of 30. Depends on what you are buying and the sizes you are buying.
Tomatoes that were sold in baskets between 100 and 120,000 naira now goes for as low as 15,000 naira. Rhoda Abba, a major supplier of vegetables to the southwest, hopes that the prices will crash more in coming days.
Now we are getting better. We are even happy the way the thing have come down, at least. Before 2 months ago, we bought it 40,000, even 45. Now we buy the baskets 16, 15, 17,000, the good one, and the light one 10, 12,000.
It's every Nigerian's dream that the price will drop so that everybody can afford.
At Katako Market, prices of grains, especially maize and beans, have dropped by about 30%. Awalu Isa Hassan is the chairman of the grains market in Jos.
Like price of corn and beans, it dropped almost 30%. Because as of early this month, we are selling beans up to 180,000 naira, while now it's dropping to 160,000 naira.
Reports from Benue, Kaduna and Nasarawa states indicate that farmers are expecting a bumper harvest this year, hoping that food inflation will drop more. From Jos, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, against the backdrop of recent astronomical increase in foodstuff prices across the country due to some challenges, a marked reduction in food prices has been recorded at major agro-producing centers in the country. Correspondent compiles reports from some states on the situation.
Few weeks ago, prices of food items were on the increase, which was attributed to high cost of logistics, amongst other factors. But with the onset of the rain, a few crops have been harvested here in Benue State, thereby causing a reduction in the price of these items.
Of last 2 weeks, a rubber pint of tomatoes was like 6,000 to 7,000, but now you can get it 2,000, 2,500 or 3,000 at most.
Last week we dey sell Adamawa 3,500. Now na 3,200 with the sell and 3,100. Iron beans with the sell last week 3,300. Now with the sell 3,200, 3,100.
The price of Gary was 40,000, and now it's bit down to 30,000 naira.
Gary don't come down. And now it's 90,000 a bag. Gary 90,000.
Bag of pepper as at yesterday Monday is 50,000 naira. Sound one, but the ones that are spoiled will have to reduce money. Current price of tomato is of different species. We have Cameroon tomato, we still sold 22,000 yesterday.
New yam now and old yam. So this is a new seed, and this one is coming from Benue. You understand? So when one wants to get to Benue, the price comes down.
10,000 I be the price. So now when they appears the thing, when they appears some plenty, I where the price will come down.
This ambience is for a reason. The reason is the drastic reduction in the prices of perishable items. Right where I am standing is the heart of the popular Enkaba perishable market, where farmers from Kano and outside Kano bring their produce for sale.
Price is rising at times, but now it's coming down. It's not as before.
Like 3 pieces of these tomatoes, when I asked, it's been sold before. Like 2 weeks ago at 400 to 500 naira, but it's coming down now, being sold as low as 100 naira in Kano. Yohannes Hassanbaro, NTA.
Now joining me in the studio to throw more light into the prices as it's dropping of foodstuff is the National Coordinator, Nigerian Women for Agricultural Progress, Omolara Svensson. You're welcome to NTA News.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. The National Bureau of Statistics gave a shocking figure of food inflation in June this year.
Right.
But now we can see the prices dropping. What is your take on that?
Well, this is all we have been working towards with the farmers, and this current administration. We started putting the right measures in place as far back as February, March this year to ensure that the farmers get maximum yield from their farming for the first quarter of the farming season, as we call it. So this is, yes, a progress in the right direction, and it just didn't happen. It's because a lot of effort and work and the right measures has been put in place a couple of months before now.
All right, talking about effort and support, does this mean that, you know, the governments and organizations like yours are giving to farmers, making an impact?
Oh, yes. In the past, we've had to struggle. We're still struggling. I mean, we're not there yet. It's still a whole lot of work that still needs to be done. But in the past couple of months, as I said earlier, the government has made a conscious effort to see that they're reaching out to the grassroots farmers, because the truth be told is the grassroots farmers that are actually cultivating the food that we consume. And of course, the grassroots farmers are a handful of elite farmers like myself. So the government is making a conscious effort, and that is all we need. That is the right step in the right direction, unlike what we've had in the past. And we all can witness the positive change and the result when government pays attention and takes initiative in the right direction.
Okay, talking about post-harvest losses is a major problem. Right. And with the lessons learned, how do you think we should manage our produce?
Well, it's still a whole lot of work that needs to be done in this regards. Not just on the government end, but we, the farmers as well, our orientation. Our farmers need a lot of training. There is a whole lot we need to relearn, unlearn, and put into practice. And while we farmers are working on this, I'd also like to still emphasize on the need for the government to make a conscious effort again to provide the right environment, conducive environment for our farmers in terms of transportation, in terms of equipment needed for harvesting and storage.
Okay, just before I let you go, your parting words, you've spoken about the government creating a conducive environment. Which other areas do you think government needs to pay attention?
Well, the government needs to pay attention to the grassroots farmers and bridge the gap. We are here to work with them, to bridge the gap between the government and the grassroots farmers, because one of the major reasons why we are where today in terms of food insecurity in the country is because there is a huge gap between the government and the real farmers, where we have people that claims to be farmers but are not farmers. So the government needs to be intentional when it comes to reaching out to farmers, when it comes to taking the right direction in making sure that we do not find ourselves where we were 2-3 months ago, where a tuber of yam is being sold for 5,000-6,000 naira. In order for this not to happen, the government needs to put more effort and take conscious steps, intentional steps towards reaching out to the grassroots farmers directly.
All right. Many thanks, Amara Svensson, the National Coordinator, Nigerian Women for Agricultural Progress, for your input on the network news.
Thank you.
And away from agriculture, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, at a meeting with the Department of State Services and heads of other paramilitary agencies, has reiterated the commitment of the force in protecting peaceful protesters during the planned protest. Francis Fum has the details.
That the NSAS protest,
reflecting on the 2020 NSAS protest, where police stations were burnt down, arms looted, IGP Egbetokun explains that the security agencies will under no circumstance allow a repeat of the 2020 NSAS.
in those places where police stations were burnt down, women could no longer come out once it is 7 p.m. because they get raped on the streets. That is not the experience we want again. So we are doing everything possible to make sure that we stop any violent protest in Nigeria at this time.
Similarly, the force says it has received credible intelligence indicating that certain individuals are planning to infiltrate the protest and cause chaos. They call on the leaders and organizers of the protest to interface with the police and provide vital information, such as contact details for ease of communication, locations, routes, and schedules. This collaboration, the force says, will enable them to deploy personnel. In another development, the force has apprehended a 34-year-old man whose video went viral on TikTok, inciting violence against state critical infrastructure, law enforcement agencies, and private individuals in Plateau State in connection with the planned protest. The force enjoins those who may want to protest to exercise their rights responsibly within the ambit of the law. Francis from NTA News.
And in view of the security implication of the proposed nationwide protest, the Minister of Defense, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, has appealed to Nigerians to shelve the protest and embrace dialogue. The minister made the appeal while addressing journalists at the Ship House in Abuja, noting that past protests resulted in security breach and mass destruction of public property.
From experience, most of mass protests usually end up in chaos and violence, and that is what we are trying to avoid. The President has been only 1 year in office, and he has done wonderfully well over this period. A lot of reforms are ongoing, and the result is coming up. All the issues that were raised will be handled in due course. So I plead with the organizers of this protest to think deeply and put Nigeria in their heart and shape this protest for the interests of our country.
The minister notes that approval for sale of crude oil in Naira and ongoing internal security operations, among other interventions, are transforming the socio-economic well-being of the nation. Vice President Kashim Shettima has solicited the support of Nigerians for the actualization of the programs and policies of President Bola Tinubu's administration, insisting that the president means well for all Nigerians. He said this when he received the representatives of media practitioners from the northern part of the country and a courtesy visit at the presidential villa Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that the Vice President spoke on the planned nationwide protest, acknowledging the right of citizens to protest, noting, however, that it has its own demerits that are not pleasant. The Vice President said current statistics of appointments into MDAs shows President Tinubu's choice of northerners for key areas such as agriculture, security, communications technology, health and allied services, among other positions in the federal government.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu is neither anti-North nor anti-Islam. But this is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious nation, and we have to see to the coloration of all tendencies. He loves the North. He is working for the North. One of the pet programs of this government is the Badagry-Lagos, Badagry-Sokoto Highway that has 64 dams along the pathway. And we are going to develop all those 64 dams. Who created the Ministry of Livestock Development? And who are going to be the net beneficiaries of this Ministry of Livestock Development? We have machines for producing net houses in Borno. If we can get the machine working, we can mass produce net houses that can bring down the ambient temperature by 2 degrees, and we can empower our women.
Vice President Shettima maintained that the present administration has genuine intentions to transform the lives of men in the North through laudable initiatives geared towards addressing the issues confronting the people. Citing the resettlement scheme for persons impacted by conflict and the creation of the Ministry of Livestock Development as examples, the Vice President said President Tinubu means well for the North. Speaking further about the need for the media to rally around the present administration, the Vice President said taking to the streets to protest will not guarantee any form of development for the region. The Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barau Jibrin, has appealed to organizers of the planned nationwide protest to reconsider their decision and shelve the idea so that the fragile peace in the country would not be disrupted. Senator Barau, the first Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is making genuine efforts to address the country's challenges, urging the promoters to give the government more time to implement the lofty programs and policies as captured in the renewed hope agenda for the country's socio-economic development. Similarly, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, passionately appeals to planners of the nationwide anti-government protest to shelve their action in the interest of the country and embrace dialogue. In a statement, he says the federal government has listened to their frustrations, assuring them that government is working round the clock to bring succor to Nigerians. He highlights the student loan scheme and the consumer credit scheme as some policies initiated by the current administration towards sustaining livelihoods. Against the determination of some youth to embark on nationwide protest on August 1st, 2024, there has been calls from well-meaning members of the public to the youth to listen to the voice of reason and not heat up the polity. Correspondent Francis from compiles some of the appeals from across the country.
Yunus Suleiman reports that the Yobe State government has pleaded with promoters of the planned protest to reconsider their action as the state is now gradually recuperating from years of Boko Haram insurgency and will resist any move that will plunge the state into another humanitarian situation.
As such, we are advising the youth as well as the citizens of Yobe State to cooperate with us so we can be able to ensure safety of their lives and their property.
From Yola, the Adamawa state capital, Yusuf Jika reports that the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, has appealed to Adamawa youths to shun the planned protest as the present administration has put in measures to stimulate economic growth.
More people on the fringes who can take advantage of it. So we shouldn't allow that to happen. And that's why there is, as a responsible government at the federal and the state level, we are all on the same page and communicating the same message. That look, calm down. These are temporary hardships. Sooner than later, we'll get out of it.
From Katsina State, Awal Haliru reports that critical stakeholders and residents of Katsina State have rejected the planned nationwide protest, demonstrating a unified commitment to peace and order. This was at a meeting convened by the acting governor, Farouk Lawal.
All the other stakeholders that have widely consulted are of the opinion that we should not join this protest. They have made their points very clear, and instead of us to be fighting two battles, they say government should not be distracted. We should focus on the issue of banditry, kidnapping, and other related crimes.
Abdullahi Ajia reports that the National Tricycle and Motorcycle Owners and Riders Association of Nigeria dissociate itself from the planned protest, saying a non-confrontational approach to issues is a veritable way to solve any problem in human society.
We believe that mindful change and progress are achieved through dialogue, cooperation, and mutual respect.
Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that APC Advocacy and Appeasement Group also condemned the planned nationwide protest, saying President Tinubu has displayed dexterity and courage in handling the affairs of the country.
It's essential to understand that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the cause of our nation's wars, but rather a leader striving to correct the injustice and the injuries by the past negative political orders.
Francis from NTA News.
You're watching the Network News. More reports after this break. Thanks for being there. You'll remember that in the course of this bulletin, we took some reports on the slice in prices of food commodities across the country. Now we are being joined via Zoom by the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi. Minister, you're welcome to the Network News.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, reports shows that there has been drastic slash in prices of food items across the country. What is the ministry doing to sustain this development? We do apologize for that technical. Okay. The minister will go ahead, minister.
All right. Like I said, we do have lean period during which supply is reduced, and so the simple law of demand and supply means that prices will go up. But what we try to do in the ministry is we are working very hard to ensure we have back-to-back production cycles. That is, we are bringing in the dry season period to supplement the rainy season, because we realize rainy season alone is not sufficient to produce the food that will provide a sustainable supply chain for us. So we are working very hard to ensure that henceforth the rainy season will be one cycle, and immediately after following is the dry season. And like you all know, the time differs from agroecology to agroecology, but basically, in the cycle of maybe 6 months each. If you look at the dry season from November, December, January, February, March, by which time April, May, we are beginning to get the rain. So the ministry is working hard on this, and the way to support this also is to ensure that we have mechanization. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is upbeat about it because he knows very clearly that our present productivity is low, arising from low mechanization. Our mechanization rate currently is 0.27 horsepower per hectare, which is even low for African standard, which is about 1.7. So we're working very hard through many mechanization programs to ensure that farmers are supported to be able to plow the land and enhance their productivity. We are also looking at input supply. The area of input supply in terms of agrochemicals, pesticides, fertilizer, and also providing extension service. Because even if you have all of these, you need to skill up and enhance the capacity of our farmers to be able to utilize the knowledge to do the farming. And so we are working also on that. Apart from that, let me say that we realize good seed is the foundation. And we have ramped up the seed production system to ensure that our research institutes are going to produce breeder seeds, improved breeder seeds that will turn out to be the foundation seed that farmers require to plant. Now, the other aspect also is that we realize good soil is key to a good production. And so under that auspices also, we have introduced the farmer soil health card, which will help farmers to know exactly what their farm, fertilizer needs is. And
Okay, Minister, Honorable Minister, let's go to post-harvest losses. What A card is the ministry, imploring to avert this occurrence?
Yes, in terms of post-harvest, there are many things we have to do here. First, by the time harvest is coming on board, we need to help in terms of even the harvesting. And so we are bringing in harvesters to support farmers in terms of harvesting, especially for the grain, so that we don't take long in the field and end up getting bad, getting spoiled. Now, in terms of those ones that are perishable, we are introducing solar-powered cold chain that will help farmers to also keep their product, in good state before they take it to market. Beyond that, the other aspect is processing. So the ministry realizing that we need to do something about that, we have the special agro processing zone project, which at the current level, almost all the states have shown interest, and this will enable our farmers to have those who will uptake their produce immediately it is coming out. And remember also we have the strategic food reserve program, which is designed to mop up excess grain immediately after harvest so that farmers will not, end up losing their harvest. And so we realize the importance of, having a post-harvest system. And we introduced what we call the Post-Harvest Connect, which is bringing all stakeholders around post-harvest to understand what the challenges are with a view to helping farmers to solve this problem. And I believe when all of these things are put together, our Nigerian farmers should begin to have more productivity while also benefiting from the harvest that we have.
All right, many thanks, Minister of State for Agriculture, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, for your input on the Network News.
Thank you very much.
And away from agriculture, President Bola Tinubu has directed security agencies to work in synergy against kidnapping and other security challenges across the country. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, echoed these while receiving rescued kidnapped victims in Abuja.
5 family members of one Sanda Bitrus, including a 9-year-old boy, were kidnapped on Saturday, 20th July 2024 at Mahuta village in Kaduna South local government area of Kaduna State. Through a rapid response by security agencies, coordinated by Office of the National Security Advisor, the victims were rescued on Sunday, 20th July 2024 at Regional in Chukun local government area of Kaduna State.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave us directives, an order for all of you to come together and work as one. We are seeing the benefit of it, and we are working. Things have improved greatly. Government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is working. We do not talk. Our work will speak for us. Things have improved greatly, but it's not yet over. But we are going to be there. By the grace of God, we will bring peace and stability to Nigeria.
A lot of people may not believe that we have security operatives that can be able to do this kind of work, but this is a proof that things will get better.
The Office of the National Security Advisor says thousands of kidnapped victims have been rescued from 2023 to date. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In line with the federal government's resolve to revive the steel industry, senators opened investigation into the current state of the Ajaokuta Steel Company Limited. At the commencement of the hearing, the legislators raised questions on the 4.2 billion naira appropriated to the company in 2024 for personnel costs. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Ajaokuta Steel Company has been out of operation for close to 4 decades, but is alleged to be enjoying budgetary allocations. In the 2024 appropriation, 4.2 billion naira was allocated for personnel, and that was the center of attention for legislators at this investigative hearing.
Somebody must be paying the salaries. How do you fund them, and under what heading?
We also have to look at the share, sales and purchase agreements between the federal government of Nigeria and Global Infrastructure Nigeria Limited and Global Steel Holdings Limited. Also investigate the extent of the compliance and performance of GINL in line with the terms of concession agreement.
The chairman of the ad hoc committee says Senate would be diligent in its engagement with all related stakeholders to get the steel mill back in shape. In another development, the Senate says the bill seeking regulation and documentation of domestic workers is to prevent security breach and human rights violation.
Most of the domestic workers are predominantly women, very vulnerable and subjected to all manner of abuses. So the intent of the bill is to sanitize the sector. At the same time, even create a new economy.
Stakeholders at the public hearing were in agreement that regulating the industry will bring sanity. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu congratulates his longtime associate, Senator Segun Bamigbeton Baju, on his 70th birthday. The president, in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, says Senator Baju served in the Senate during the Third Republic and was president's colleague in the Red Chamber. He also was former ambassador of Nigeria to the Republic of Cuba and concurrent accreditation to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Republic of Honduras, and the Republic of Nicaragua. The time now to join Adiola in Lagos for stories making the rounds from the Center of Excellence. Adiola, it's over to you.
Olajide. Ahead of the impending nationwide protests, various ethnic nationalities have continued to call on organizers of a slated protest to engage in peaceful dialogue with government at all levels. One of such is the non-Yoruba speaking community, whose main concern is to dissuade their members from participating in the protest, especially in Lagos. Musa Toliat has the report.
Lagos State is home to Nigerians from diverse cultures, tribes and tradition. With more than 22 million inhabitants from all walks of life, these Nigerians from diverse backgrounds say the nationwide protest slated for 1st August readily brings to mind the setback inflicted on Lagos by the 2020 violent EndSARS protest, which the state is yet to recover from.
Let the world know that the non-Yoruba community in Lagos State are against any form of protest in Lagos State. Because we know certainly the criminal element within our society was certainly going to hijack it to their advantage.
So if all of us will come together and then prevent this thing from happening, I think it is for the benefit of Nigeria. The president is trying his best. It is still going to show, but it is a gradual protest.
And our people agree with us that they will never support that protest. They will never support. They only support the government of the day.
They therefore urge their members not to participate in the upcoming protest, adding that only peaceful consultation can help resolve the lingering economic challenges.
We see the protest of Kenya. It didn't occur well. I'm begging all the youth leaders, all the youth in Lagos, let them come to the round table and talk to the governors. Let's know what we want to do.
The non-Yoruba speaking community, however, advised government at all levels to come up with more initiatives to alleviate the challenges across the country. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The tension and aggression that permeated the atmosphere at the service centers of major telecommunications network providers in Lagos on Monday has disappeared, giving room for calm and peaceful activities. Michael Olaleye reports that Lagos residents singled out the timely intervention of the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), directing the reactivation of all blocked lines not linked to NIN as the saving grace.
The race for accuracy on the National SIM Ownership Database has been on for a while, with the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) forced to adjust the deadline for SIM linkage on several occasions. With the set date of July 30 in view, most mobile lines were blocked to the displeasure of owners, and in Festac Town, for instance, this viral video paints a vivid picture of the outrage and frustration.
In corporate management, it is important to recognize what is called emotional intelligence. MTN made a very big mistake by not gauging the temperature of the moment. Government at all levels, federal, state and local, have been making desperate efforts to calm tensed nerves. And this is the worst time for one to begin to toy with communication.
Maruf Ahmed is one of the subscribers whose SIM was recently blocked, and according to him, the disappointment that comes with loss of communication cannot be quantified.
I was also involved. My line was blocked, but this morning when I reinstalled my SIM, I discovered that it has, the blockage has been lifted. So it's okay. So I just want the government to think every time when they want to bring out a particular policy.
Although the action has since been reverted, with the NCC directing the reactivation of blocked lines, these Nigerians say we enabled them make up for the lost time.
So it was very timely, and that is what I call responsibility. An organ of government must be responsible, because time is of the essence. If you do what is right at the wrong time, you are not going to achieve the same result.
Though the once calm atmosphere has since returned, but offices of some service providers are under lock and key, according to online reports. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
And those are reports from Lagos. We will return to Olajide in Abuja after this break.
Good to know you're here. And talking business, transitioning to a green economy has been identified as an avenue for diversifying Nigeria's economy base, create jobs, reduce dependence on fossil fuels, and enhancing resilience against global oil price volatility. The Director General of Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Imomotimi Agama, speaking in Lagos, emphasized the importance of embracing green economy as solution to the diverse challenges being faced, and stressed that both the government and the private sector must adopt this approach. For him, renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and green technology is the way to go, as the International Renewable Energy Agency estimates that renewable energy could create up to 52,000 direct and indirect jobs in Nigeria by 2030. This shift, he believes, can stimulate innovation, fostering new industries and business models that contribute to economic growth. And still talking jobs, the World Economic Forum says 14 million jobs worldwide will vanish in the next 5 years. This is the outcome of a survey of more than 800 companies. The new economic report says huge disruptions will rock the global job market over the next 5 years as the economy weakens and companies boost adoption of technologies such as artificial intelligence. And we've found that employers expect to create 69 million new jobs by 2027 and eliminate 83 million positions. That will result in a net loss of 14 million jobs, equivalent to 2% of current employment. It posits that the shift to renewable energy systems will be a powerful engine for generating jobs, while slower economic growth and high inflation will drive losses, in addition to the rush to deploy artificial intelligence, will serve as both a positive and a negative force. And now talking markets, the market is bearish as investors lost 171.18 billion naira, with all share index declining by 0.31% to close at 97,830.65 basis points. A total of 399.3 million shares in 10,447 deals, corresponding to a market value of 8 billion, were traded. Today's data shows 5% improvement in volume, 8% decline in turnover, but 3% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 55.6 trillion naira. And on the aggregate, 160 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 19 gainers and 37 losers. Zenith Bank recorded the highest volume of 44.2 million traded shares, followed by Prestige Assurance Company and United Bank for Africa on the third spot. That is business news. Network News continues with Olajide.
Many thanks, Benny. It was nice doing business with you. Moving on, Chairman National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Jalal Ahmad Arabi, says it is leveraging on the experiences of the just concluded Hajj operation for better outings in subsequent years. The NACON Chief Executive Officer stated these at a World Press Conference on the 2024 outing. Tokwe Alabi reports.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria safely returned 50,383 pilgrims to Nigeria within 25 days in the second phase on 119 flights compared to the outbound flights of 121 that took 27 days. NACON Chairman Jalal Ahmad Arabi at this World Press Conference is setting the records straight on the operations of this year's Hajj as he highlights federal government's intervention of 90 billion naira to ameliorate the challenge as a result of foreign exchange.
NACON then devised a distribution strategy which played a crucial role in ensuring that all stakeholders associated with 2024 Hajj benefited from the financial stability through this federal government's support. Each pilgrim was supported with 1,637,369.87 naira from the 90 billion, except, of course, for pilgrims under the Hajj savings schemes.
While the Commission says preparations for the 2025 Hajj have already commenced, issues of concern raised include activities of 111 private tour operators and pilgrims' basic travel allowance, as well as calls from certain quarters for decentralization of Hajj.
Nigeria is not the only nation with NACON. All the other nations have their own NACON. And as far as the Saudi policy is concerned, they only deal with an entity on behalf of a nation.
While thanking Allah for the successes recorded, the Commission's chairman acknowledges stakeholders for their cooperation and the pilgrims for their prayers, promising to continue to uphold the sanctity and significance of Hajj. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA.
The Nigerian Television Authority has again been recognized as the best TV station of the year by the Charismatic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria. Leader of the conference, Leonard Batirik, has disclosed this during a courtesy visit to the management of the NTA in Abuja. Daniel Aderi reports that the bishops commended efforts of the NTA in promoting peace and unity.
They are known mostly for dwelling and propagating the gospel from the pulpit. But the Charismatic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria took the message of the gospel one step further by seeking out the Director General of the NTA, who was represented by the Executive Director, Administration and Training, Nansel Nimio. And no, it wasn't for a sermon, rather a message of gratitude and acknowledgement.
I have traveled to 74 countries preaching the gospel. And I realized that every country that I have gone to, Nigerians there are seeing NTA. They are watching NTA through one way or the other. So we're calling on Nigerians to be patient with the government and to join us, to be prayerful. To be prayerful. We hear of news of nationwide protests here and there. we feel that Nigerians should give the government some time.
NTA, tries to provide the alternative. We try to project the truth as it is. And we can only do that, if we're able to partner with organizations like yours, to push the truth into the public, space. Otherwise, many of our people, especially the youth who spend a lot of time on the internet, would be misled by what they see or what they read.
A big applause for the NTA, you might say, but that was not all.
We hereby present to the Nigerian Television Authority the CBCN Television Network of the year 2023-2024. Meritorious Service Award presented to Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos. Keep the good work going.
In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, NTA News.
Another break beckons. The news continues in a moment. Glad to know you're still there. Over now to Badi Aleye for Sports Update. Badi.
All right, welcome to Sports Updates. Let's begin with badminton as Anoluwapo Bayori slipped to a 2-0 defeat in his opening round of badminton men's singles to Switzerland, Tobias Kuenze. The African champion dragged his opponent in a neck-and-neck battle before losing the first set 22-20. He could not force a third set as Kuenze was emphatic in a 21-14 victory in the second set. Next for Bayori is Asian champion Li Shifeng of China on Wednesday evening. And to football now, Super Falcons of Nigeria are back in action when they play their third Group C match of the Paris Olympics, having lost their two previous games to Brazil and Spain by a lone goal. The Falcons, who are aiming to qualify for the next round, will need to beat Japan when the match kicks off at 4 in the evening and hope for a favorable result from the Brazil-Spain game. The match will be beamed live on the NTA terrestrial platform. To a bit of tennis now, after losing on his favorite clay court of Roland Garros to arch-rival Novak Djokovic in the men's singles, Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz teamed up in the doubles for Spain in a 6-4, 6-7 victory over the Netherlands. The Spanish duo, nicknamed Nadocras, thrilled fans on Court Suzanne Longley Arena as they combined to keep their quest for gold on course. Meanwhile, American second seed Coco Gauff fell to a shock 7-6, 6-2 defeat to Croatia's Duna Vecic in the third round of the women's singles. Gauff was among the favorites for a medal at the venue where she reached the French Open in 2022. And that's sports for now. It's back to Olajide.
All right, many thanks, Badi Adele, for keeping us up to speed from the world of sport. President Bola Tinubu has condoled with the Chief Executive Officer of Sophisticat, Lanre Ogunlesi, over the passing of his mother, Rofina Ogunlesi. The president, in a statement, described the matriarch as one who lived an exemplary life, inspired many with her hard work, and nurtured great talents and fashion icons like Lanre, who has been the president's tailor for many years. He urges the Ogunlesi family to find comfort in knowing that Mama's legacy lives. And that's it on the network news. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.